Have you ever met someone who always sits alone? Not because they're disliked, but because they choose to? They walk through life quietly, detached from the social noise that most people crave. They don't post constantly. They don't seek validation. And yet, something about them feels mysterious, almost powerful. Psychologists say, sometimes it's not loneliness. It's a different kind of mind. Today, we'll explore the 5 rare personality traits of people who don't have many friends, and why being alone might actually mean you're operating on a higher frequency. This isn't about sadness or isolation. It's about self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and depth, the kind that most people never reach. 1. Deep thinkers, the introspective mind. People who often walk alone tend to live inside their own heads. They're thinkers, constantly analyzing, reflecting, and observing the world. While others fill silence with chatter, deep thinkers fill it with thought. They ask questions like, why do people act the way they do? What's my purpose here? What does happiness truly mean? This introspection makes them fascinating, but also difficult for others to understand, because surface-level conversation drains them. They crave meaning, not noise. They'd rather sit by themselves in a cafe, lost in thought, than join a table of gossip and trivial talk. Their loneliness isn't rejection. It's selection. They're filtering the world, choosing silence over superficiality. And as a result, they end up with fewer friends. But their inner world becomes extraordinary. 2. Emotionally independent. Most people need constant emotional validation. Likes, compliments, attention, reassurance. But those who live alone, emotionally or socially, have learned something rare. Self-validation. They don't need others to tell them they're enough. They've learned to give that approval to themselves. This emotional independence can look like coldness to outsiders. But in truth, it's strength. They've been through moments where no one understood them, where they had to pick themselves up, alone. And that kind of solitude creates resilience that others can't comprehend. They don't attach their happiness to people. They attach it to peace. They don't chase love to feel whole. They chase growth. That's why emotionally independent people often intimidate others, because they can walk away from anything that disturbs their inner calm. 3. Hyper-observant and intuitive. People who don't socialize much often become watchers. They sit back and observe what others miss. They pick up micro-expressions, tone shifts, fake smiles, and lies hidden between words. Because they aren't constantly speaking, they're listening. Their silence sharpens their perception. Psychologists call this social hyper-awareness. It's a skill that develops when you spend more time watching people than trying to be liked by them. That's why many loners have strong intuition. They can sense someone's energy almost instantly. They know when something's off, even if the person says everything is fine. This sixth sense helps them survive emotionally, but it also isolates them. Because once you see too much, it's hard to unsee. They know when conversations are fake, when friendships are shallow, when love is conditional. So they withdraw, not out of arrogance, but because their intuition has already read the room. 4. Selective energy and boundaries. People who don't have many friends aren't antisocial. They're energy selective. They've learned through experience that not everyone deserves access to their peace. They know how draining it feels to entertain negative, gossip-filled, or drama-heavy people. So they build walls, not to shut the world out, but to protect their mental clarity. They prefer one genuine connection over 10 shallow ones. They don't attend every party, don't reply instantly to every message, and don't fear being left out. They're not lonely. They're guarded. Because once you understand how rare true connection is, you stop wasting your energy on temporary people. And ironically, this boundary setting, which most people lack, is what gives them their peace, focus, and emotional stability. 5. Self-awareness and personal growth driven. There's one final trait that ties them all together. Self-awareness. People who often find themselves alone use solitude as a mirror. They reflect. They journal. They meditate. They ask, who am I becoming? Instead of fearing loneliness, they use it as a tool for evolution. They study themselves the way others study trends. And because of that, they grow faster. They break old patterns. They heal inner wounds. They understand their triggers and transform them into power. In a world obsessed with being seen, they find strength in being understood by themselves. So the next time you see someone sitting alone, Don't assume they're lonely. They might be one of the rare few who've reached a level of self-awareness most people run from. Solitude, for them, isn't emptiness. It's clarity. They've mastered the art of being alone. And in doing so, they've discovered something extraordinary. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you stop depending on the world for your peace. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful form of freedom a human can ever know. If you related to even one of these traits, you're not broken, you're evolving. Solitude is the training ground for strength. Embrace it.